Hello everyone, the name's JcDent and I'll be doing a let's play of this Russian game called Warfare. Enjoy the intro.
Saudi Arabia is undoubtedly one of the most shut-up countries in the world. If you're not a Muslim, then you might want to keep away from the streets of Riyadh. And don't even think about visiting the streets of Mecca.
Wahhabism, a radical branch of Islam, is the official religion of Saudi Arabia. However, as strange as it can seem, Wahhabi have even more radical party of Orthodox Salafites. The Salafites are in fierce opposition to the regular government of Saudi Arabia, being the party which Saudi kings always have to keep in mind.
After a number of acts of terror at military bases and oil wells, the President of the United States told about the U.S. intention to increase the military presence in the region. However, politicians are concerned that it will only provoke further growth of unhappiness amongst the local population.
A number of large-scale terrorist attacks in Mecca and Riyadh were a shock for the local society, but as strange as it seems, the locals don't blame radical fundamentalists of Islam, claiming the main reason of what happened to be the presence of American forces in Saudi Arabia. More and more people come to hear sermons of Salafite preachers who call everyone to clean the peninsula from the infidels and their minions.
Marches of protest of many thousands once were a really uncommon phenomenon for Saudi Arabia. The main claim of marching people is the immediate withdrawal of American troops. It seems that the attempt of Saudi king of playing democracy leads to the country getting out of control. The local population takes the opportunity to state its will as a sign of the king's weakness, which is a thing numerous local Salafite leaders successfully exploit.
The President of the United States told of his plans of increasing the U.S. military force in Saudi Arabia and his strong intention to support the royal family of Saudi Arabia and fight against the rebels. The Americans are ready to be of any help to the royal family, right up to strict military intervention in order to keep the stability of oil production at the peninsula.
Real massacre in the suburbs of Medina between rebel Salafites and the King's Guard took place last night. The most piquant moment of the situation was when the corps of regular army that came to back up the Guard refused to engage in combat. Everything shows that the dissidents in Saudi society have reached a certain critical level.
The sudden disappearance of the king from the capital city brought panic to his suite, and later it became known that he went to pay a visit to one of the younger blood princes to his country palace, where he intends to stay as a guest for the oncoming week. This event has no connection with the recent wave of riots and the rumors of possible military overturn in Riyadh.
The main question currently plaguing the streets of Riyadh is how the army is going to act. And this question is quite serious. If the generals remain loyal to their oath and the king, the rebellion will be crushed easily. But if they turn their weapons against the governor, the consequences can be totally unpredictable.
So, now that you're up on the geopolitical side of things, welcome to the campaign screen. The game takes place in Saudi Arabia and you'll be commanding the American forces here. The news line provides some fluff. The map lets you select mission. I don't think you can ever choose from multiple missions. And the Warfare blog provides all of the hack Russian writing that you could ever read. I mean, it tries to provide fluff, but it's generally not too engaging and not too exciting, with Russians trying to sound like Americans. The translation is quite well as far as Russian to English translation in the games go, but, well, nothing to spend, nothing that warrants the time needed to read this wall of the text. The funniest thing is the disclaimers below that rights are kind of reserved. So let's start our first mission, in which you'll see none of the helicopters that you saw in the CGI intro, nor an open-topped Humvee. Now, I've played this mission many times before and this is pre-recorded, and there are some things in the video that made me go this route instead of playing a new game and doing a live commentary. So I'll be skipping some parts of the dialogue here.
Alarm! Alarm! General Scaff rebelled! Oh no! It...
So, officer, your force.
Hearing the audio quality, I don't think you mind me skipping the dialogue. I mean, it's really horrible compared to the voiceover in the intro that read the news titles. So, first thing you can do is mount up the troops and move forward. If you don't move forward, those three guys will try to suicide rush you anyways. So you might as well get it out of the way. As you see, the ground isn't even, and sometimes it takes a lot of time and a lot of ammo to shoot one guy. I think the BMP also took a few hits in the back. So, now apparently our Bradley, the only viable fighting vehicle that we have, has run out of fuel, and we'll have to get the troops out of it and take the BMP. As you see by the unit signs, different vehicles are crewed by different types of troops, and those are represented by the, I think it's first armored division for the armored vehicles. It uses the old iron signs patch, while the lame cars are driven by the crazy horde, I think 11th cavalry. Well, I don't really know. Well,
Oh, your beauty there.
here's some more awesome dialogue.
Yes, apart from that.
I don't really know if it sounds racist. I don't know. It might be a little racist, but then again, Russians are probably not really up to the customs of Saudi Arabian speech, so can't really tell. The good thing about the intros are that they're all the cutscenes, and that they're all in real time, so some of them might have different results. And the another thing is that they're easily skippable, unlike in some games that have live cutscenes but don't let you skip them, which is, well, usually quite boring.
Or you maybe.
What?
Brothers, we must join with our general.
God! Let's capture the king. Blow up the gates.
Yeah, this was a bit of a stupid moment for the guards. Nice physics though. So yeah, we command our vehicle crew to yoink the BMP. Meanwhile, I'll take a look at the Marines. The models are quite small but detailed. You can see to the right their ammo supplies. Everything is shown. I mean, it's not individual inventory for every troop like in Men of War, but it's nice. Anyway. Here we try to repair the BMP. You actually have to repair BMP anytime. It's not only my shooting. Here we have movement stances and aggressive stances, basically never used in the game because you want to always command your troops. Capture the building will be covered later. I've rarely ever used attack with all what you got, but here you'll see probably one of my favorite commands, which is go to ground. In places where there's cover, the troops will seek cover. Here you will see the list of all available troops, which also lists the kills they had, and their experience points. See, this Humvee already killed someone, so that's why it has 1 bar filled. This is one of the few early missions where Humvees are a viable troop choice and can go in front of actual troops. As you see, this one already has side armor damaged. The prettier model shows parts of the Humvee that are broken. Those can be repaired by troops on the repair command. The armor, however, won't be repaired till the next mission, so once it goes black, here you see the BMP back doors are already yellow. Once it goes black, you can say that the car gains another viewing port. Here I'm experimenting with a command that I never noticed the first time when I finished the game, which means dismounting troops directly into a building, which basically makes them force their way into the building. It's probably unwise to use it offensively, what with every other trooper in the game having an RPG. But now, since that building is empty, I think we could use it. Now we have to position Humvees well, so they wouldn't get exploded instantly.
It'll be a matter of time, sir.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
Here our troops are dismounting the Russian IFV, hopefully, eventually. We're putting them here as a sort of a screen for various forces. One thing about the game is that battles rarely, I don't think ever, give you rarely give you surprises, because, well, you can learn from places and troop types that come from one direction or another, which is kind of not entirely dynamic, and it makes it kind of boring. On the other hand, your actions might change every time, which means getting through maybe cars damaged and troops killed, which might force you rethink your position.
American, you are...
Here I'm going to steal that other APC, which is damaged but has a better machine gun.
Taking fire. Got it, sir.
The shake dialogue was triggered by our BMP reaching that grey flag you saw earlier. Now, this helicopter gets knocked down every time, but this time it flew really far. I mean, as far as I've played, I've never seen it crash so far. I wonder if anybody had ever had a game where the helicopter flew here undamaged. And also, all those tanks and anti-air vehicles you saw earlier, they're definitely in the map, and you can see it on the mini-map disappearing now. Here's our BMP helping out with the cannon. Unlike the Bradley, the BMP has a sort of a conventional cannon that fires high explosive rounds, while the Bradley only has an autocannon. Both of those share the anti-tank guided missile, which makes it very useful later in the game.
Moving to fight.
Also, you see me deploying smoke, which for most of the game is one of your bread and butter moves, especially when you're using infantry and want to cross paths that are infested with tanks and sometimes snipers. Here's some point-blank BMP tank cannon action.
Yes, sir.
It might have been dangerous because over the hill you can see over the hill there are late-game tanks, and those could wreck our shit pretty good. Also, don't you just love those sound drops at the end of my sentences? So yeah, in that smoke there's the Saudi convoy. The Sheikh is in the horrible Humvee H3, and
I am General Mahmoud.
And yeah, our task is to take him down the road.
BMP is ready, sir.
The convoy starts moving whenever you ride on an arrow and turn it green. So the trick is not to move it too fast, because you'll need to protect it at every point, and those civilian Humvees are probably even less protected than our own military versions.
Ready.
Now, this Humvee only has an MG, but almost no armor, while that M113 actually has armor. So I'm going to take these troops outside of it and put it in the APC, while leaving the Humvee behind. One of the things that I'm trying to do with this LP is try and steal every kind of vehicle available in the game, so I could show it to you afterwards.
Ready to kill. Acknowledge.
Snipers are quite useful troops, but in my opinion they have probably the most horrible voice clips in the entire game. Here's me destroying a BTR-60. Here's the enemy convoy moving in. As you see, it has T-72s. I'm pretty sure that with careful planning and positioning, it's actually possible to destroy all the enemy forces and tanks in this level. If you somehow put the Saudi king in a good protected position, and then move your marines inside the palace and have a BMP support them with ATGM, although it only has 8 of them. but I'm not going to try it because I'm already sick of seeing this level. Now, here you're going to see me doing one of the mistakes I usually do, which is forgetting that there are guys on these hills. And now my BTR is going to eat several RPG rounds. Luckily, either due to Russian nationalism or just good Russian engineering, it's quite a sturdy vehicle and it shrugs the rounds magnificently. And we have nobody in the crew dies. I think you might have noticed that one of this M113 is hurt. I think it might have taken an RPG or a BTR tank round before. I mean, if there was an ATGM going, it would have already been exploded. Accuracy and damage in this game is sometimes kind of weird, and I've had times when taking out that technical took me a lot of time. Here is a pretty safe position because the enemy takes its time riding around the palace and basically never comes here. And I have to repair my car in preparation for the second round of stealing and looting vehicles. So as you see, the crew are repairing parts of the tank, which was shown as immobilized because it doesn't have anyone in it. And the other two status icons over the wheel are the target and the fire, which means either that the targeting is offline or the car or the vehicle is on fire.
I have blocked all. Oh, it's continued.
Now this is supposed to be your first tank kill, but since T-55 is such a piece of shit, I'm going to put the ATGMs offline and attack it with the MG or the autocannon and the high explosive rounds. I'm going to save it just in case. Please don't laugh at the saving name convention. And what I'm going to do is try and steal the T-55. Here is the reinforcement screen in which you can put troops into troop carriers before actually spawning them, which is kind of useful in some missions, even though pretty fast you'll dismount the troops as fast as you get into the mission. Yeah, I'm doing the same with this Bradley, because T-55 is not the only vehicle here. Here you saw the inflammation sign, which means that the crew is already out of the vehicle and it's out there for us to steal. And our Bradley noticed a BTR there. As you might see, just under the name, every vehicle and troop has its speed and camo rating, which depends on the terrain and movement and speed. Infantry can usually infantry that's gone to ground and not moving usually has it in about 70 or 80, which makes them harder to spot for the enemy. I think it goes the same for the enemy too. Somehow the BMP has 32 camo rating, as you saw, even without doing anything. I mean, even without stopping, and that Bradley doesn't. It might be a terrain feature or something. So yeah, here I'm taking out the team out of my grenade machine gun Humvee and trying to put them in BTR. I can't, because as you might see, it's still on fire. Fire is just a nuisance in this game. Basically, you can wait for it to burn down inside of a vehicle and then enter it and use it, no problems. I don't think I've ever seen vehicles go and get damaged or explode from the inflammation. The only effect it has is like driving the enemy, and in rare times where you fuck up your infantry outside their command vehicles. And here's a funny little command that forces gunners in some vehicles inside the hatch so they wouldn't be picked off by a fire. It's very annoying to get a trooper killed that way. So now the Saudi king has reached the end area, almost. And now we're going to win the mission. An interesting thing here, but we don't see any of the special stronger tanks that the enemy has here. Only BMP freeze, although I'm pretty certain that there are challengers and Leclercs here too. So yeah, that's the mission, and we're going to see the end mission screen. We haven't lost anything, so we're pretty cool. And I'll meet you in the mission 2 video.